Welcome to episode 71 of the OVW podcast, the unofficial podcast of Ohio Valley Wrestling. My name is Jackman Oaks.
My name is Tyni Bryan. I'm in today for Brian Hines, who is out for some personal time.
Yeah, everybody have a Reese's for Brian Hines today.
Absolutely.
Today we get into all the action from OVW Revolution Reckoning, emanating live from legendary Hot Point Davis Arena on November 2nd, 2024.
So what do you think about Legendary, by the way?
Legendary?
Because I love historic Davis Arena, but historic Hot Point Davis Arena feels like a lot of going, ha.
It is.
So I thought we would make. That's why I changed it to Legendary in the notes.
But I will. Here's what I'll say to that. It is wrestling, and alliteration goes a long way.
Well, we do 2 H's. If we add a third, Connecticut's going to send their lawyers, I feel like.
That'll be all right. It'll be all right. This is the Kroger Field thing.
Yes, it sure is.
For those of you that don't know, the wider audience, we have a sports stadium here that got rebranded. Its original name was Commonwealth Stadium and is now Kroger Stadium. And the people here call it 50-50, really.
Yeah.
Between Commonwealth and Kroger. I have a feeling that maybe there might be some of that in the wider OVW fan base as well.
Yeah, I would say, although now if you Google it, it does pop up as Hot Point Davis Arena.
Does the concession stand still show up as a separate place?
No, but Hot Point Davis Arena, the concession stand does have a very good rating.
Right.
Because it is it's a fine place.
It is a great concession stand as far as concession stands go. It is.
They partner with some good kitchens and they do some good stuff
some
on
local
their own,
stuff.
so.
Some local legend. I mean, speaking of legends, Wick's Pizza in Louisville is one of the legendary pizza places there, in a town full of legendary pizza places, really. It is election day as we record this. I see you went out and voted.
I did, in fact, vote.
I did not for a myriad of reasons, some philosophical, some legal, but I did not make it out to the polls today. But for everyone that exercised their right, you will be listening to this afterwards, but salutes to you, good patriots, that were out there today casting a ballot.
Yeah, let this, if it's still, no one said what's happened, then, use this as a time to think about something else. Yeah. We won't bring it up probably the rest of the episode.
No, I don't. I didn't intend on it, just here at the beginning.
Yeah, I did wear my stickers, so.
So speaking of OVW, we haven't even talked about OVW yet.
No, Ohio Valley Wrestling. Have you heard of it, folks? It's a fine wrestling promotion.
There's as we move into the fall and even into the winter, there are still OVW tour stop updates all over the place.
They keep popping up.
If you find yourself at one of these fine events, tag us at OVW Podcast on any social media with any videos or pictures that you may take at said events.
Yeah, we definitely want to share them with other people. Or put it in I guess we should add to that they can put them in the OVW Fan Zone as well on Facebook. The Fan Zone as well,
yeah. That's a very easy platform.
Almost 1,500 of you in there now, so we are so glad to have you.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's getting crazy in there.
That's cool. I don't usually do the tour update thing.
No, I'm happy to do the tour update. Let's see. Every Thursday, folks. Every Thursday, although probably this month we will have a Tuesday night because of Thanksgiving.
Right. A return to Tuesday night.
Most every Thursday, you can see OVW live at the legendary Hot Point Davis Arena. Doors open at 6. Bell is at 7. There is a pre-show before 7. So get there early, meet the stars, see the matches, and that is there for you. Then we have this Friday from when we're talking. So that is Saturday, November 9th. OVW is coming to Paris, Kentucky. Mm-hmm. They are coming to, and we, our day job, Jackman, is Divine Spirits, where we bottle bourbon and other spirits. They are a sponsor. We got to get our when the Halloween decorations come down, we got to find that. Remember, we used to have the logo up on the wall.
When we first started, we did have the logo.
When we first started doing video, and it's just changed so much over time.
But that night in Paris, Kentucky, downtown Paris, Kentucky, because it's really kind of all downtown.
Yeah.
there. It's not a hard place to navigate if you've never been. It's a beautiful little place, a beautiful drive, no matter where you're coming from.
It
And
is Bourbon County High School.
right, and all of the stars, of course, will be at Bourbon County High School that evening. And to put it plainly, folks, it would mean a lot to us in a lot of different ways if you could come that Saturday night. If you're not having any plans, post-election blues, either way it goes, come blow off the steam with the stars of OVW at Bourbon County High School. And, of course, we might be sponsoring it. Our day job might be sponsoring it, but we are taking none of the proceeds. All the proceeds go to one of the best marching bands
In the country.
high school marching bands in the country.
Full
Our
stop.
hosts for that evening, the Bourbon County High School Marching Band.
Yes, you have seen them in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, like in 2022. They have went to Indianapolis and won national competitions. This wrestling event supports that work. Come buy a hot dog, buy a drink, maybe
I'm
buy.
sure you'll see some of the kids maybe even working those. I know that's how it always worked when we did events or whatever. Was we always had to work the concession stand or what have you. So might even see some of those great musicians, great marching band kids. Really, just like what more could you ask for than come out a great night of wrestling, support a great organization, the Bourbon County Marching Band. What are they called? What's their their mascot, their nickname?
Oh no, I'm not gonna guess.
I have no clue.
I'm sorry.
They weren't in our division
No,
growing up, so I don't really remember.
We were 4 hours. Well, we were 3 hours away from here when I was growing up.
But yes, Bourbon Brawl one last time. Probably not the last time.
Yeah, we do have another show tomorrow. We'll probably bring it up again. We may even bring it up tonight. And next year, January 25th, 2025, the OVW makes their first trip to New Kensington, PA, Pennsylvania, for OVW Winter Warfare. And, again, this is a place, if you're an OVW fan in that part of the world, this is the first time they've really came to. Is that East Coast? Do we know where that is?
Oh, I would have no idea.
We don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, that part of I think it's Western Pennsylvania, New Kensington, PA, Winter Warfare. Go see them.
Which part of Pennsylvania is technically considered Appalachia?
Western.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Who knows? But yeah, because they have
been there one
coastal.
time. Been to Pennsylvania one time. I ate at a oh gosh, what was that old now defunct all you can eat buffet? It was like a woman's name.
Aunt Helen's Buffet. No,
I don't know. It started with an S, I think. Maybe it started with a P.
I'm hungry. Let's not talk about it.
Yeah, we might need to find an all you can eat buffet right after this.
No kidding. So yeah, that's all of them that we know right now. But New Year's coming. We hope to hear more dates, and we will always let you know what's up at the OVW on tour.
Yeah, you can get all of your tickets, whether it be for Davis Arena or any of the events across the nation, across the state of Kentucky. You can find them at OVWTIX.com.
All right.
You want to take this one? You want me to do this one? We'll be back right after this.
Well, why don't we, since we're both here, and we're both on camera, hello, people, why don't we do it together?
Sure.
So what are we talking about today, Jackman?
We're looking for sponsors. We're looking for sponsors, guys. We're trying to grow this thing into the best version of it that it can possibly be, and one of the ways that we can get there is by making a little bit of money. That doesn't come with no benefit to any potential sponsors, though. We have a great relationship with our fans, and we just want to introduce our great fans to you guys. And that's really the way that we want to look at this. Brian, you can speak to that. If there was any part of our potential sponsorship plans that I thought were just unreasonable or unfair, I would have voiced said opinions.
He yells at me all the time for various things.
I don't yell, but
Brian, that's ridiculous. What are you doing?
But when it comes to money, when it comes to asking for money, when it comes to what we're able to do,
we want to be authentic.
We want to be authentic, and we want to be real, and we want to be able to generate, an actual positive relationship between a potential sponsor and our fans, because that's what sponsorship is. It is us as a platform being able to introduce you to our great people. So
if you're a business specifically in Lexington or Louisville or interested in people who live in Lexington and Louisville, that's where we have fans kind of all over, but probably the heart of our fan base is right here in Central Kentucky. So, but yeah, we'd love to talk. You can just DM us on any of our.
Listen. If you're in Wisconsin, well, no, maybe we do have fans in Wisconsin.
We do have, in fact, fans in Wisconsin.
If you're in Boise, we'll take your money too. Listen, we're not turning down anybody's sponsorships. Well, no, that's not true. That's categorically not true. We will turn down.
There are things.
There are a handful of corporations out, or a handful of entities rather, that we would turn down wholeheartedly. But if they're above board in Boise, I'll take the money.
Wrestling promotions. We have our fans travel to watch wrestling. We know that. We see them. We go with them. We're there with them. So, get in touch. We'd love to help you. Now back to our regularly scheduled programming.
All right. So we do want to note here at the beginning, there was how did they put this, an Academy Spotlight?
An OVW Academy Spotlight match.
And I know that this is kind of so this is a new practice for OVW. I know a lot of the times, are these guys still in class?
I think they have just graduated.
That was what I was going to say. I've always thought that the policy was you're not on a show until you graduated. So congratulations to Briar Heyman and Luke Hartman. Luke Hartman taking the victory here.
Yes, and quite a nice little match, but we'll kind of move on beyond it. Hope to see them on the real show soon.
Yeah. Hey, congratulations, guys!
But let's get started with one thing about it. There is the sketches here are pretty well done, and they're robust, and we're getting a real kind of made for TV story here.
Right. Well, and it's ultimately ironic that the sketches look so good, given the main event of the evening. It's kind of an unfortunate.
Yeah. Spoiler.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you're here, you saw it. We'll get into it when it comes, but I'll give credit where credit's due. And to speak to your point, yeah, the cameras, the lighting, everything is looking fantastic. Sound, everything is looking fantastic in a majority of these sketches. And this is something that OVW ringside vignettes, backstage vignettes, I'm going to try to get in the habit of saying that. It's been something we know that OVW struggled with sometimes in the past. So
this stuff is hard,
It is. We're not good at it.
No, we've been doing this a year and a half, and we are sort of okay at it for the most part. So.
Yeah, we let Josh Ashcraft sit and smack gum on here for an hour and a half.
Boy, we sure did, didn't we?
We sure did. So obviously we're in no place to critique, but it's a less interesting show whenever we don't. So, first match of the proper pay-per-view.
Well, let's talk about the fact that we opened the pay-per-view with the Revolution standing over.
Like to get,
I know you want to get right to the. You move right to the matches.
I miss the forest for the trees sometimes.
But yeah, they've apparently jumped cash flow right here at the start, and pretty well framed shot really. But our first proper match is Junta Peso taking on.
Star Player Prime.
Yeah, Star Player Prime Jackson.
So I was thinking about this actually whenever I was watching this match, and kind of how impressed everyone was with Buzz, us included, us on this podcast, because Buzz was very, very impressive, and it kind of just felt like when you would see the Star Player Primes or the Boy Toy Troys of the world. You kind of couldn't. It was harder to understand what made them good for me, at least personally, because I was so enamored with Buzz. All of my energy for new faces on the roster, and not new baby faces, but just new faces in general
just
on the roster.
Yeah.
Was kind of dedicated to Buzz and dedicated to that Will Austin program. I was kind of thinking about that over the course of the Star Player Prime match, and then on Thursday night, while we were there in person as well, that class is really, really, really great, man. Boy Toy Troy, Prime and Hoda together here kind of did a wonderful thing. Star moves really fast, but I love that he's kind of playing. He's bigger than. I'm sorry, Hota. Yeah, but he's not playing like a power game. He's playing a straightforward kind of rush division, flip floppy, sell your ass off thing.
No
And-
shortcuts with his size, just
Right,
sort of
right.
playing it straight and kind of taking it one spot at a time.
And you can tell that that Boy Toy Troy loves Shawn Michaels. And that's something I used to kind of razz him for, but now I've kind of fallen in love with him. When there's something about Star Player Prime and the way that he sells with his legs, the way that he sells in general, I think that that's such a tall comparison that I hate to even make it. Like, oh, you're like Shawn Michaels. But he has a knack for selling, and that's what always made Shawn so great, right? Tall shoes to fill. Hesitate to even say it, but I love what I'm seeing from Star Player Prime.
Is that new ring gear? I think it is.
I think
Star.
it is.
Maybe the most slept on of this graduating class
Potentially.
that we're just confronting here.
I wonder if, because I know that Star and Boy Toy have gotten to work tags in GLCW, and I know that that's a pretty stout Dave Hero rule, is tags have to have matching gear. So I wonder if the new gear maybe wasn't part of that. I don't know. I'm just kind of speculating, but
Interesting.
I will give props to Dave Hero on that one, because
Tag teams should look like
tag
they
teams
belong
should
together.
look like tag teams.
Yeah.
I think that is, and that's not me getting mad at OVW or anything, or any other place that has tag teams that don't exactly look like tag teams, but that work really well together. Star Player Prime and Boy Toy Troy are at the level where the next step was matching gear, and I think Dave Hero is smart to
insist upon it.
And
for
sure.
Dave, where OVW's doing 50 shows a year, 60, 55, 60 if you include pay-per-views.
Right.
GCLW does 10.
Right.
They do those more of special events, and so you want to have the matching gear for those kind of events.
Yeah, you want it to be curated to your vision every single time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And who can fault Dave? You can't really fault Dave for the product that's getting put out up there.
Wouldn't and can't.
No. Can't wait to get up there to see it with my own two eyes.
Hoda Peso takes the victory over.
Absolutely.
And I think that just comes down to insisting on Star Player Prime's that he's not in the game as much yet. He's still learning.
Well, yeah, Hoda's
to go toe to toe with Hoda, and then Hoda to pull out the victory. Just it's an anointment. Right?
Absolutely. It's you got to count the lots. That's as I understand it.
That's always what I've heard.
I mean, that's what Al always says on that commercial. So that you count the lots in your local armory. And OVW's quite a bit higher than your local armory, but still you got to count them.
Yeah, you got to get there.
As we move past this match, let's watch Cal's shoulder. Watch Cash's shoulder. Watch his shoulder.
It's a backstage vignette here.
Yeah, Cash has been gotten into an office. He is bandaged in multiple places. He is shirtless. He is angry.
Was there something I was supposed to see on his shoulder? Oh, that's just what they were
That's
yelling.
That's what he kept. Yeah, watch it. Yeah, Cash is going, watch my shoulder.
Right.
Watch my shoulder.
I thought you were insisting that I watched
Cash's shoulder.
Cash's shoulder.
Well, it may have helped him a little bit if that you did that. So
I saw you just came back from the graveyard. I'm a little frazzled. Yeah. So Cash is. They're telling the story throughout the pay-per-view,
and it's well done.
Is Cash going to be able to compete in the semi-main event, right, of the evening?
Yes, the penultimate event.
But
let's get into the second event of our main program this evening.
Let's get into the second event of the second match proper of the evening on this pay-per-view. Donovan Cecil versus Dustin Jackson, two of the most pound-for-pound athletic dudes you have.
Yeah.
Two very different body shapes, but just in terms of like pure athleticism, these two guys are crazy off the charts, right?
Different body shapes, not really that different styles.
Skill sets, right?
Like the fact that they are very different and have different strengths and everything. They seem to kind of go the same way. Or is that my imagination?
No, this was a great match. it's really kind of telling the story of Donovan's power very early on, and then how Dustin is able to kind of use his agility and eventually wear Donovan's down so much to use Dustin's strength, overcome the strength, kind of step toe to toe with Donovan in terms of strength from the storyline, in the story of the match.
Mm-hmm.
This thing was so quick and moved so fast. I thought this was my match of the night. I obviously love these two guys, so kind of a no-brainer for me thinking this was the match of the night. I want to talk about this thing Donovan does over in the corner. It's like, I don't know, like an inverted corkscrew thing. I don't know. It looked crazy. It looked absolutely crazy. It was an insane feat of athleticism from Donovan, and a big dude to be doing that many corks and rotations and gyrations and whatever, right? I do though want to talk specifically about the ending and why this, if they choose to go this direction, could have opened up a storyline down the road for these guys. Dustin was able to win because Donovan basically got angry, right? Donovan lost his cool, and Dustin was able to capitalize on it. Donovan takes down the shoulder, his shoulders.
The universal sign of "I'm gonna get you now" if you're a big dude.
Yes, right. Donovan hits him with a massive power slam, right? Crazy looking power slam. And
can we talk about the guy in the windbreaker they keep going to in this video?
He's a Donovan guy. He loves Donovan.
I don't know that have we seen that guy before? Because the wind never stood a chance against him.
He was into it. But Dustin has this miraculous kick out at 2.9.
Yeah.
Also, I want to give shout out while I'm thinking about it to both guys with the false finishes tonight, keeping it close, shoulders on the mat until the last possible moment. Anyway, Dustin is hit with this massive power slam. Donovan kicks out at 2.9, right? Donovan gets angry, goes for the exact same maneuver. Dustin's able to, I don't even know what to call it. It was like a headlock into a small package.
Into an inside cradle, kind of.
And it was just this amazing kind of quick as a hiccup feat of athleticism.
And it's over, before Donovan could really do anything about it.
And I loved that. And I also, I don't know, two very equally matched guys, to borrow a phrase from my usual co-host Brian Hines. A hard-fought match and two incredibly equally matched guys. Dustin Jackson,
just a classic wrestling move at the end there too.
Right, and something you can't anticipate.
So
small package.
Small aside, while we're talking about it, we mentioned that I went and voted today. I realized that my vote, the story of me going voting.
Who'd you vote for?
That's none of anybody's business.
I'm just kidding.
When I went to a school. Local school is my polling place. I went in the wrong door and found myself near the theater and kind of discovered the theater was actually occupied. And when I went into there, I kind of stood and watched, and they're in the middle of a technical rehearsal. Whether there's people on stage wandering around, literally knocking on tables and things to kind of check the microphones to make sure that they wouldn't cause any weird noises. And so I'm like, oh, well, look, producing. Because they're literally kind of all just talking about it and working it out. And they gave me some directions. I told them to break a leg, headed on, wound my way through the school until I found myself in another space where there's a huge mount, and there are 24, there's a dozen pairs of people, 24 folks, and they're all just doing wrestling holds, small packages, and amateur wrestling, high school wrestling, and
collegiate style wrestling.
Yes, and I'm producing and wrestling, and it's I had to travel through my own subconscious to go vote today. So I wanted to actually put that out into the ether. So that was a weird kind of surreal experience for me out of nowhere today. So
what time was this?
Oh, this was mid-morning, 10:30.
They just don't these kids have class?
No, I was there to vote. There was no school because of the election.
Oh yeah, I guess that's what. Yeah, sorry.
So yeah, they were all so.
I don't. It's been a long time since I was in school.
But
And I
every
probably was skipping. If it was a random Tuesday, I probably didn't know anyway. So.
But yeah, apparently every extracurricular activity was in the school that I was going to vote at today. But yes, Dustin Jackson takes the win there on an incredible little handy little move, which brings us to
Match of the night.
Yeah,
for me.
I would say for me too. Definitely pretty high quality match. The peso match with and Prime Jackson match was no slouch, but
Right.
Good quality matches here to start things off.
The pay-per-views often are all high-quality matches.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's never very seldom is there any kind of.
But it can be hard, to sit and watch a whole pay-per-view. There's a lot of stuff happening. If you are curious, you want to make time for one match, this would be my suggestion.
Absolutely. So then we find reporter, our good friend Zachary D. Pittman III, is being interviewed by somebody. I don't know. Maybe I did. I missed who it was, but does his classic dive in and emerge as
Super Z.
Super Z. Yes.
Right. So are they just giving up on the whole, does everybody know? Do I know, do I only know as the viewer?
We obviously know here on the unofficial podcast.
But, I'm just...
Yeah, I would love to see that storyline continued.
I'm
really surprised it didn't happen for Halloween.
Well, and just kind of just some direction for Z, I think, would be nice. I love the character and I love the potential and I love Zach as a wrestler, but I'm just confused sometimes about what Super Z is.
Yeah, and where this is headed, and let's just go ahead and get in because this is also our next match.
Right.
Super Z in a non-title match. Very few. This is not a title match rich
tonight pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view. There's only the one, the Fatal 4-Way, as far as I know, was the only bout where the title was up for grabs.
That's the only one Doug would have any reason to commission.
Yeah, looks to be. So. Was there any? Who was the women's match tonight? We got Ari and Freya, but that was it, right?
Actually, speaking of, Ari and Freya might be better than Dustin and Donovan, but we'll get into it.
We'll get into that. First, let's get into our rematch of the Masked Wrestlers. I thought of this as an interesting payoff for the blindfold match from Hell Night.
Right.
That we finally get the match we actually needed.
Would have liked to see some sort of stipulation, I guess, given that it's a pay-per-view. But glad the blindfold stipulation stayed on a Wednesday night show.
Yeah.
So Star comes out looking great.
New gear again, I think.
New gear, yeah. Always.
Oh yeah, this is Guerrero inspired gear.
Always so fun to see Rey Mysterio.
Guerrero. Goodness gracious.
He, well, I guess I do know who you voted for. The purple and gold, of Star Rider here. The Lakers colors. I actually didn't remember it as a Rey Mysterio gear, to be honest.
I'm pretty sure the announcer said that.
Someone on announce team said it, but I don't remember it as Rey Mysterio gear. That doesn't mean it's not. I just usually I'm pretty good about stuff like that. I thought it was like Kobe gear.
It's LSU.
Oh Lord, no. Star Rider is a very nice guy. He's got a little more class than LSU. Yeah.
Oh look, Star tried to take Super Z thing away.
His cape?
Yeah, tried to wear the cape. She did the hand gesture thing too.
Star Rider kind of early on in this heel experiment, I think that this was his best showing.
Yeah.
I think that he kind of brought the right amount of dickheadedness and brutality at the same time. I think that that's what makes the best heels is when they can just
be
kind of ridiculous but also very threatening.
Well,
Shalance. Yeah, no, I mean,
when
totally.
in her heel mode, she is equal parts sort of threatening,
Right.
but also she's
Over the
just a
top.
good time. Yeah,
Over the top, right. And that's that wasn't enough. This new side of Star Rider was not enough, though. Super Z ends up taking the victory, gets his cape back, goes to the top, and that's that.
Seems like it's about time for Super Z to actually get a legitimate title opportunity here.
So he has not held a title as Super Z.
He is not.
They had to have been tag team champions in the not the Revolution, but
the Fallen.
The Fallen, yeah, the spooky guys.
I feel like they probably held them. I don't think they held them since we've been covering it, but I think they may have at some point before we did, back when the Fallen was more prominent. Maybe when Amon was still part of it.
Maybe with Super Z, a title program or a title reign could be kind of the thing that I'm talking about in terms of trying to get him back on track.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if that's where we're going with Super Z right now, and in terms of versus Star Rider or for a title program. I don't know who Star Rider's title program is next, to be honest with you. So Super Z is as likely as a candidate as anyone, but I wonder what's going to happen after the pay-per-view.
But Doug is going to have to put some of these people into title programs, aren't they?
Yeah, eventually. I mean, that's just going to be the way that it works, either by hook or by crook, whether it's Al comes back or somebody comes down, from above.
Yeah, Vaughn, the voice of the machine guy, David Vox Mullen shows up and makes him do it. Somehow, some way, these titles are going to have to be actually put on offer.
But for right now, Doug has no incentive to do so.
No, and it may, and he's a smart man. He knows what he's doing. There's no reason for him to do that until he feels like he has to. So we didn't see them here.
There was something I was thinking about, but now I can't remember exactly what it was. If it comes back to me, I'll bring it up.
We'll see if it comes. Yeah, we'll see. Now we get into the Adam Revolver of it all.
Yeah. Adam Revolver is pissed because his only friend is in the Revolution now without him.
And he hates the Revolution. Like, for a guy who has been in every faction that's ever been, the man does not like the Revolution.
I can do it, but you cannot do it to me. That is the rules. You know what I mean? That's the way.
So even make his face turn be really just selfishness.
Is that not? I mean, that is more accurate than anything. I'm allowed to do all of this, but you are not allowed to do the same thing to me. That is one of the most accurate, most baseline human emotions.
People generally learn empathy when that is one of the ways that we kind of learn. Oh, it hurts when things happen to people because things happen to you, and you go, oh, I remember that. That's why that doesn't feel good. No, not let that happen to other people.
So I mean, just talking about what's realistic. Whenever you get put into, when you're baby faced in a real life situation, do all of your habits change?
No.
Are you a better person? Do you kiss babies overnight just because you're a baby face in a real life situation?
Nah.
So why would it happen in wrestling?
No.
I love it.
I love it.
That's the type of stuff that I actually enjoy. Sometimes even more than matches or angles, is just a nuance such as Adam Revolver's face turn just still being petty.
Yeah.
He's
still Adam Revolver.
Still Adam Revolver.
So yeah, he's mad and he stares at the camera and
he's talking real serious.
Yes, and
he's gonna put an end to the Revolution.
He's definitely gonna do that, and yeah, he wants and I guess this.
Who do you think Adam Revolver voted for?
I mean, I don't know that he wants us to put it out there. I don't know that's.
That's going to be the question.
Let's have a special episode where we just go through the whole roster, everybody in the back. Who do we think they voted for? 2024.
Do you remember when I threatened to just turn this show into whatever dumb phrase was making me laugh that day? Like for a while, it was power move. Like I was just only going to describe everything as power
You really
moves.
described, and that wasn't just this podcast.
I know.
This
I didn't
was
really do it on the
everywhere.
podcast that much because I knew that.
But you were doing it everywhere else. Yes.
I was like, that's a power move. This is a power move.
You know who has a power move?
To bomb Eric Surge.
To bomb Eric Surge. Have we seen this guy before?
We have. I remember his gear. I mean, hard to forget a big dude like that.
Yes. In purple and gold. More purple and gold.
Yeah, kind of, like if him and Star Rider were a team or something.
This is a new video. I think that's a new Tron for Adam.
It's recent. I don't think it's brand new, but I think it is pretty recent. This kind of starts off like every Adam Revolver against a big man match. He gets thrown off of him 2 times and then puts him in the corner and beats the tar out of him. Adam Revolver is consistent with the game plan. Is what I'm saying.
He knows he's like a chess player in that way.
He's consistent with the game plan is what I'm saying.
I do really
and
like
I know
this
that
guy.
I know that sounded sarcastic, but it wasn't. Like Adam Revolver is a character. Like he's a fully formed character with motivations, and it's just I love Adam Revolver, the professional wrestler, because I don't know, man. I think he probably just does more of what I like about wrestling than almost anybody else does.
I bet you even really like his...
in terms of mental, from the mental standpoint.
Right. Do you
psychology.
like the open challenges that he does? Comes out there and kind of smarmy, and somebody comes out.
Oh yeah.
He cheats and wins.
Yeah.
And, no, those have been hilarious these past few months.
I think he's great on the mic. I think he knows exactly what to say and when to say it, and he knows where the line is. Most importantly, he never punches down. Well, he punches down in the heel way.
Yeah.
But he knows where the line is. He doesn't cross up. When he says a woman joke, it's not get down on your knees. It's
that's another.
Yeah.
That's somebody else entirely in this group.
It's like a cook and sandwich thing.
Yeah.
Which is
And Eric, looking strong in this match, really, and I'd love to see some more of him.
Yes, yeah. As far as the new guy goes, and you throw a kind of a newer face around OVW in there with Adam Revolver. Adam Revolver is always going to make him look good.
Mm-hmm.
It's just what he does, and he made him look so good tonight that Eric Surge took home the victory.
Absolutely, look at that!
Big time victory here on pay-per-view.
Would love to see Eric take on Donovan.
That would be interesting. That would be really interesting. I want to see more of Eric so that I can see where he kind of fits in athletically next to Donovan.
Mm-hmm. I think that would be a good viewpoint. Let us get to really kind of see what this guy has.
Sure.
Throw him up against Donovan Cecil.
Sure. I mean, I love a hoss fight.
You sure do.
And we had a tag team hoss fight after Tony Gunn comes and does his kind of promo against Cal for their main event street fight.
I guess Doug actually kind of distracted Adam. I guess that's probably worth mentioning here at the finish of this match.
Yeah. Well, Doug's going to be there. Doug has shown himself pretty much all night that he's going to be there to help his guys.
I'm pretty sure Doug just has a right off camera there, right just before you get into Gorilla. Doug has now set up a bed, and he basically lives at the top of that ramp.
They should get Doug one of those Rey Mysterio entrances where he just came out of the ground. And Doug just pops up out of the ground holding the R. Or like when NSYNC would come up out of the ground and then Doug just comes up and he goes straight back down. And he's just there for whenever, and sometimes he doesn't even come all the way up. He just puts the Revolution out of the thing, and that's enough, for the distraction.
Like Jason coming back in the next movie.
Yeah, that would be dope.
Return of the living Revolution leader.
I think we should do that. I think we should raise the money for that.
We'll pitch it to them. We'll see what they have to say.
Well, I mean, I know they all listen. So.
Oh, well, we don't know that.
I mean, come on. What else? What more important things could they do than to listen to this?
I mean, fitness, watching their actual product. There's all kinds of things they could do. Yeah. But we do welcome. We love to have you if you want to listen.
Drink water. Watch paint dry.
Let's move along. Tony Gunn stares at the camera and is
he's mad.
He's mad and is ready to ready to fight Cal, but we'll get to that
He's
shortly.
an Arkansas roughneck.
Here we got Leo Fox and who's the other guy in this? And this is
Drew
the
Hernandez,
Drew
the Mayan
Hernandez,
Mauler.
the recently returning Drew Hernandez. Look, the Runyon.
Yeah, everybody loves Chris Runyon getting whipped cream.
Yeah, it is. And that guy, that
guy loved getting whipped
yeah,
cream.
that second guy was not me, if you were wondering.
Gosh,
He might resemble me a little bit, but that was not actually me. Beaches and Cream here against
potential
Hernandez.
Revolution members.
Yeah.
Really is what it kind of seems like. Drew Hernandez and Leo Fox. We talked a little bit about Leo Fox this past week.
Drew,
we
he
like
just returned.
Yeah, that's true. But we like Leo Fox around here.
Yeah, they're great additions. We love all these guys. Love to see Beaches and Cream for the first time in a few weeks back together in the traditional alignment.
Well, and Beaches and Cream are kind of the only. Why
is he just won't stop showing him his butt? That's
well,
no.
I think it was. That was a smart wrestling move on Lawrence's part to crawl around on all fours because, he could prepare if he was to go for like a collegiate style takedown. Lawrence is already prepared for anything that he could do. I think it's really smart.
Lawrence is especially luscious in this match.
He's turned up his Rick Rude thing all the way on this one.
Yeah.
And I love it. Omar and Luscious have kind of become the only go-to babyface tag team.
And how that happened, none of us are really sure.
Well, and it's just funny because it felt like there were so many tag teams for such a long time on the men's side.
Seems like we're gonna have to. I mean, are we gonna have a Nightmare Rumble or a Nightmare Cup tournament sometime soon?
Yeah, and I guess we'll see who all is a part of that, other than Beaches and Cream.
I expect to hear about that on Thursday.
They'll be heavy favorites entering it.
One would think.
Didn't they win the last one?
Maybe.
No, I think that's what started
their
hill run.
Yeah,
is that they didn't
because Cash and Malahabali Shira
right
came in there. This does sort of highlight. You notice we haven't really seen Dalton McKenzie. He's not here for this episode. I don't think he was there at Hell Night either.
Yeah. Well, the Revolution runs in numbers, and so it makes it a little easier to not have one of your original guys like Dalton whenever your numbers are growing. There would be no indication that he's.
No, maybe just he had another commitment, or maybe he's hurt, and we'll see him soon.
Could be any number of things.
But
just doing Cincinnati things.
But Beaches and Cream take the win here pretty handily.
I would say so.
Probably the most fun match of the night.
Leo
is a
Fox,
lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, it's Beaches and Cream, it's Gaga. But then it also becomes hard hitting because that's what Beaches and Cream do. You tag Omar for that hot tag, he clears the house. That's the Beaches and Cream formula. Pretty easy time for them to take the victory after Leo Fox turns on Drew Hernandez, though. Important, I guess, to state that Leo Fox goes AWOL completely and walks backstage, leaving Drew Hernandez
all alone.
And Beaches and Cream make a pretty quick work out of him.
Wow, I don't know that. Yeah, I guess he's. Yeah, that's not what you want.
No. Bout number 7 of the night, moving along here, making decent time. Sometimes these can get a little long-winded, but we've all had a long day here today. So, Ari Alexander and Freya the Slayer. Great match from Ari Alexander. I want to take a quote from the commentary team. I think Josh Ashcraft said it. What's Ari Alexander doing filming a highlight reel tonight? Freya, maybe I'm so quick to give Ari all of this praise because Ari's making her return after a little bit of a hiatus. Freya,
she was on Overdrive last week, so you can go check that out if you want to see her perform there.
Right. Freya, this new attitude of Freya, and Ari kind of, I would say, how do I want to put it? it was like watching this match was like watching Freya kind of reach a boil.
Yeah.
Everything that Freya was able to do, Ari was able to find some sort of smart way out of it, or some sort of very athletic way out of it, or something just kind of an unexpected way out of it. You see Freya kind of resort to the old school thing that she knows how to do, which is just go in and whoop some ass.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of, at the end of the match here, resorts to the choke slam after Ari's survived the off with their heads.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was kind of what I took away from the story of the match, is that Freya is like trying these new things. We've got a new attitude from Freya, but she's learning that like at the end of the day, I'm still bigger and stronger than pretty much every woman in here except for one of them, and I'm probably bigger and stronger than her too.
Mm-hmm. But Ari was a good match here.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
Was a good fit, and you gotta love that Freya seemed frustrated at the top, and Ari was very quickly able to focus her in and bring her in for that. So you gotta love it.
I maybe 1A and 1B with Donovan and Dustin, in all honesty.
Mm-hmm.
Loved this match.
Hard fought.
Let's see more Ari Alexander, please. Can we get more Ari Alexander on the show, please?
Yeah, she definitely locked it up here with Freya the Slayer in this our only women's match here in
only women's match of the night, but hell of a match.
Hell of a match. They still don't think Cal can go now. The producers are involved. Cash. Keep calling him. Shoot. They still don't think Cash can wrestle. Now there's producers and refs and managers. There's all kinds of people involved.
And Josh Ashcraft knows, as he said a lot tonight, really putting over that he knows Cash just as well as anybody else does. And what he knows about Cash is that Cash doesn't give up. He doesn't come out of a commitment, no matter what shape he's in. And that is the version of Cash that we got tonight, certainly.
Absolutely.
All right, so this big old 4-way match.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
So I to be honest, was a little confused by the pacing of like the last half hour of this program, because I'm looking at it and I'm like, we got a 4-way match. Cash and Kadeem, which
and
by
the
this
parking lot match.
And the parking lot match, which by this point I kind of figured that Cash and Kadeem was going to go by quicker based on,
what they've been building.
Yeah, what they've been building. But a 4-way, those can go a long time. I do want to point out that I was a little confused of, is it a general 4-way where
anyone can win
on anyone, or EC3 has to be pinned?
Seems like it was an anyone on anyone, because there was a couple attempts to pin Will Austin through the course of this. So,
as far as 4-way matches go, I really enjoyed it.
It didn't feel like a normal Fatal 4-way because, it was very clearly EC3 was the target. That it was very clearly that Evans and De Niro were
simpatico.
Yeah. So it was just basically Will kept breaking up what they were trying to do to EC3.
Well, and Will's the smartest person to do that, because he's the biggest opportunist here. You might think Tony's the biggest opportunist, but he's really not. He has a plan more often than not. Will is a get in there and figure it out.
He's an improviser.
Right.
Yeah.
So Will was the perfect person to continually break up pins. Jay De Niro and Tony Evans, I guess maybe it's not time to pull the trigger on that. This would been
or it may be that they're about to come apart, because we do see them kind of cross ways a little bit in this match.
A little bit, but as far as blowing open that whole angle, like,
no.
They didn't. This would have been the place I would have thought that they did it, but they didn't do it.
If they don't do it Thursday, they're not doing it. At least not yet.
At least not for a while.
Yeah.
So how shocked were you when EC3 retained?
I mean, we talked about this pretty thoroughly on Fan Zone Live. We've talked about it on the previous episodes of the podcast here.
But seeing it,
honestly, it felt inevitable.
I agree.
This was not the moment. I don't know why. I am more than ready for EC3 to be done, but this felt like this was set up to deny Basham what he wants.
I think so. I could see that from a storyline perspective. A couple things. I like this version of EC3 better.
Yeah.
I think that this version of EC3 is. I didn't know that he could do it, and I'm not on the babyface train with EC3 yet because there's still a lot of time left to see if he falls back into some of the habits that I've complained about. Even if he is a babyface.
He doesn't really abandon the
right. And this seems to kind of be. The fans seem to like EC3 as a babyface.
Yeah.
For me, I need more time with the experiment.
I've been so committed to EC3 needs to drop this belt for so long that I'm having a little whiplash, even considering that I'm going to start rooting for the notion that he keeps it.
I would say this: let it breathe out a little bit. Let's see him wrestle.
Yeah, if he comes on Thursday night and just wrestles somebody, even if it's non-title, I think that's going because there's nothing this fan base likes better than if you come to this ring and perform
and effing wrestle.
Yeah.
And if we're gonna be 100% honest, in the time that we've been covering this podcast, I think there's an argument to be made. We've not seen
EC3
wrestle.
No.
Yeah, we've seen EC3 in matches.
Yeah.
But heels don't wrestle. And EC3's not been a babyface.
And he's been a master of, and EC3 is a master of that.
Of heels don't wrestle.
Yeah.
Right. Of
I'm
that kind of heel.
And when you finally get me in a match, I'm going to hang out outside, and then I'm going to have help.
Right.
But we are beyond the EC3 has help.
We are beyond the EC3 even has friends.
Yeah. Except for maybe Adam Revolver.
Adam Revolver and EC3 are the two rejects from the Overmen
/ the faction
the faction,
the parking lot attendants, whatever that faction is, but was called over the years.
That would be interesting. I don't know if it's 100% necessary, but if he has a friend, Adam Revolver from a kayfabe perspective would be the only one.
That would be the only one, and they both really dislike the Revolution, so they have reason to lie, perhaps.
Is that another good-to-go babyface tag team?
I mean, we're going to need them for the Nightmare Cup.
Potentially. I think here's the biggest thing that could cement, and in all honesty, and this is not me, this might be me BSing, but this is not me being full of BS. EC3 comes and wrestles.
Look at him laying in the crowd after he wins.
Right. EC3 comes and wrestles on Thursday nights more often. He defends that thing more often.
Mm-hmm.
He can make the transition.
Oh, he comes and defends and wrestles. He will make the transition. And this is a crowd that they will like you
if you got the goods.
Perform.
If you got the goods.
Yes.
And if EC3's lack of appearances and EC3's lack of defending that belt is going to coincide with his babyface turn and him defending that belt or making appearances all the time, then I got worked. I got played.
Well, we all did.
I got worked into buying every level of EC3 as a heel, if that's the case.
So let's talk for just a minute before we move on about Doug's commentary in this match.
It's the ravings of a mad king. Really.
I mean, look. I'm a fan of modern poetry. A little E.E. Cummings. A little T.S. Eliot.
Which one did the one that is the bassist for Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cats? It's one of the two of those.
That's
is it T.S. Eliot?
Yeah, it's Eliot, I believe. But yeah, and I felt like I was listening to somewhere between, real time modern poetry and a fever dream. as he kind of yelled instructions to everybody.
What does modern poetry even sound like?
I mean, it's...
Is it like when Eminem raps door hinge with orange?
Sure. Rhymes are not even really important. It's actually about, it's more rhythmic than traditional poetry.
Is it
But
like
this is not
Ginsberg?
a poetry podcast.
Is it like Ginsberg? Is he?
Ginsberg is more traditional.
Okay.
He has rhymes, and the meters and the structures are hidden in modern poetry, unless it's just terrible modern poetry. Anyway, Cal
Or
Hero.
just poetry, am I right?
Cal Hero was having a mental health episode.
Well, that's his business. We shouldn't really.
He came and stood in front of a camera and talked to us.
Talk to the all the fans, not to
Yes,
us.
not just to us. We weren't there, but we did get to watch it. And yeah, that was a different sort of Cal, and we've talked to Cal a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we
Been
know
a big
Cal,
fan of Cal
love
for a long time.
Once felt like I got yelled at by Cal, but turned out I really wasn't.
It was similar to when I listened to a Taylor Swift song, and I feel like I'm getting chewed out by a girlfriend.
Just because you recognize the arch top.
Right, yeah. That was when Cal cut the nepotism promo. Is like,
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't about the podcast, but it certainly felt like it.
Certainly.
Yeah, kind of like a Taylor Swift song. It certainly felt like it was about me.
So
I know it wasn't, but I certainly felt like it. All Too Well, the 2-minute long version. You ever listen to that and just cry?
We'll get into Taylor Swift later. Wasn't this supposed to be Change Chaos?
I think that if Cal, I might have this wrong. I was at the Country Boy booth, but I think that if Cash beat Kadeem when he got 5 minutes alone with Doug, and that was Change Chaos.
Wow, that would have been a lot of effort to put up those chains.
Well, and that kind of is again another way that you were. And
in.
I might have that wrong. But I think that I have it right. And that's kind of another way that, yes, you were clued in as to what was going to happen here.
Yeah.
It's a hard spot. It's a really hard spot to put this match at and it not be clued in what was going to happen.
Well, yeah.
And unfortunately, it's the big title. You can't put it on anywhere else other than in, like...
You can't have this second in the evening.
Right. You could. But OVW doesn't usually do that.
No. Cash makes a valiant effort here, mostly one-handed.
And if OVW does know it, you know that person's going to either lose it by the end of the night or change.
Yeah.
Turn heel by the end of the night. So,
like when our good friend Crixus won the heavyweight.
Right.
And then turned to the Revolution.
That's when they finally got a name.
Yeah. So.
Get well soon, Crixus.
Yes.
We miss you. Revolution misses you too.
They sure do.
Wendy and Ren definitely miss you.
Wendy and Ren send me messages regularly. They seem angry at me that you're missing. So get back before they hurt me, please. So Kadeem just sort of, despite Cash's best effort.
Yeah, that one.
Mount Kadeem just has his way with Bigfoot here.
Well, and whenever your biggest weapon in your arsenal, you're at 50% at best with, and you're going against a guy, and your biggest weapon is the chop, and you're going against a guy that big, you can't be at 50%.
No.
And Cash. Now you got me doing it. Cash is in just such a place that he was very vulnerable to Mount Kadeem. Mount Kadeem made short work with him. Still see a little bit of Mount Kadeem's kind of his inexperience a little bit throughout this, but Cash is just not able to capitalize on anything like that.
Windbreak guy has the wind taken out of his sails.
So Mount Kadeem lays waste to Cash. We'll see what happens with Cash, I guess maybe on Thursday, maybe not.
Yeah, which brings us to our main event of the evening, if I'm not mistaken.
I have got to hand it to them for ambition.
Yeah.
I have got to hand it to them for ambition. I thought that this would have been really, really fun, and I'm sure it was fun to watch in the arena. We, of course, didn't make it that evening.
No, unfortunately, some sickness, some stuff.
Yeah, just general malaise.
Yeah.
General malaise.
Well, and allergies.
I loved having all the lights on. I loved the
cars around with
yes,
the headlights.
just like everything, all of the makings of something really, really cool were there. It's just, unfortunately, we didn't get the best video of it until the two competitors make their way inside of the building.
Yeah, the one spot where Cal puts him in the chair and then he charges over, that
Tony puts Cal in the chair.
Tony puts Cal in the chair and runs him over.
Yeah, the spots of this that we get to see are, like I said, very ambitious and very, very cool. Something I might have liked to see is like maybe you get a handful of fans outside or something.
Yeah, so there's some
real,
and no commentary as this part of it is going on either.
Well, and I love, so one of my all-time favorite death matches, that's a trick that they use in that death match, is that the commentary starts because the match starts in the ring. They go outside, and it's not until they make their way back into the ring that the commentary team picks back up. And when you're watching the match, it's this amazing immersive
right. It
thing.
Makes it feel percussive.
Right.
Yeah.
So I like that. Like I said, everything on paper here works except the camera.
Well, and they did their best.
No,
and the almost run over, that spot was great.
Everything. I love this. This looked like a real big deal street fight.
Yeah.
This looked like a real big deal street fight from what I was able to watch. What I would love is, not only for these two gentlemen, but for all the fans, if there's a version of this footage that works
a little better,
maybe we throw it up on YouTube for free.
Yeah, we'd love to. Definitely, this match deserves it.
And I mean, I would love to take time out of our Wednesday show if there's a video of that and throw it up on our Wednesday show.
Yeah.
Because I think that the fans deserve to see this. I think this was so cool and so ambitious. I think
you
that
gotta
these
love
two guys
literally crawling into the arena.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Gunn here.
I think that these two guys deserve a lot of credit for. I mean, either you get hit by a truck or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
You only get one shot at that.
Yeah, that's not a let's go back and try that spot again kind of situation.
And so, like, I thought all of this was so dope, and I just, like, am saddened to say that, like, the conversation is going to be marred by the camera. Even if you go back and look at this on YouTube, the top comment is the camera. The top comments about the camera, and that sucks because that's what people are going to be thinking of on the way out.
Yeah, but let's the ending when they actually come inside though, man, is just it's so brutal and so raw to watch. Tony collapse coming out of the corner and Cal just Cal has
been ready to get his hands on Tony Gunn.
Yeah.
Obviously. Cal's ready to get his hands on Tony Gunn.
And takes full advantage here. I guess maybe let's just go to the ending spot.
Sure.
When Cal finally has brought that rope out, kind of hesitates to use it at first, and then
realizes he has no other choice.
Yeah. So does this a fairly familiar spot of the hanging out of the ring like this, and using his own weight to kind of put the pressure on the neck of Tony Gunn until he goes out.
And again, there's a lot of ways that this spot could go bad.
Yeah,
you're one tying this thing on the wrong way. You're just there's a lot of ways that this spot could go bad.
Mm-hmm.
And these two guys know each other very, very, very well in OVW and in other places. A lot of trust between these two guys. And as far as stipulation matches go over the last handful of weeks for Cal Hero, he's been having a good go at it. This match comes to mind as one of high quality as the one versus him and Jamin.
Yeah.
And this, I don't know, probably my favorite Tony Gunn match in a long time. I think that
really left it all on the mat.
Yeah.
On the mat here. These two.
I think that he had a Falls Count Anywhere with Shira months ago that I thought was a lot of fun from Tony, but this, really great job, guys. Really, congratulations, guys. And
you gotta love we literally go to black as Cal's going back for more.
Right.
So this is not over.
And I, again, there's just some of those spots in there. There's no room for error.
Yeah, and they pulled it off. So congratulate! What a finish! What a pay-per-view!
Great pay-per-view all around.
I felt a little disconnected from all of this. It felt just like, it reminds me of like early Crown Jewel when it would just sort of be, here's a huge level house show.
Sure, before those were kind of
Worked into
dignified by storyline. Yeah. So I don't think that I'm speaking out of school to say that like OVW needed to get to this pay-per-view.
This is the final part of the reset after the summer of slumber, right?
Yes. I think that the 2 months in between, the 2 months in between the comeback and this pay-per-view, 2 months in a week, basically. I think that now we're going to be able to get back to more of the OVW that we recognize. Things will be a little more consistent because I think that they've had to work backwards from Fight Night, basically.
And they've pulled it off.
Yeah,
and given us some spectacular moments. There's
been so many great matches. There's been so many great matches, but like they found themselves in a massive pickle whenever they had to take 2 months off, and they literally took 2 months off, and it took 2 months to get back to
kind of clear the things and get back to it.
Yeah. So like,
all right.
When you think about it, and you think about that concept of wrestling not having an off season, there's the execution right there. 2 months off, and 2 months back
it back up.
Right.
Because it took them that Thursday was just about back to normal. Like we're finally getting back to normal for OVW as far as Hot Point Davis Arena, how it looks in there as far as crowd sizes. Absolutely. So we're glad that things are back and we're ready to move forward with OVW.
And sad I missed this one in person, guys, because this was a heck of a pay-per-view.
Yeah, but we will see you soon. All right, so join us for Fan Zone Live on OVW's YouTube channel, and we'll be back here next week with hopefully Brian will be back. It's never good when I have to be on camera.
Nah, Brian, I'm sure he'll be back. We missed you tonight, buddy. Yep. Everybody out there, take care of yourself. We ain't out of the woods yet. Eat a Reese's for Brian, and we'll see you later.
Thanks.